NCAA, are you happy with what you've built? Are you happy with what you've overseen? There's a young man who's a quarterback who played at Holy Cross, who's quitting on his team as they're 3-0 because of money. That's ridiculous.
Well, ridiculous might just be the perfect word to describe the story surrounding Matthew Sluka. And that's because we've never seen anything like this before. The starting quarterback for an undefeated team jumping ship over $100,000 that he was allegedly guaranteed. And though there's been plenty of talk about UNLV's broken promises, Sluka's character, and the he said of the whole situation, it ultimately all ties back to the sport's biggest dilemma, NIL. ESPN's Pete Thamel argues that the actual disagreement between Sluka and UNLV is far less significant than the current model that allowed it to happen in the first place.
Moving forward, I think, is what's most important here. The themes of the flawed compensation model that currently exists in college sports, where essentially third parties are outsourced the payment to the talent. And it's indirect and it's clunky.
These third parties are almost always collectives, which function outside of the NCAA's jurisdiction. And since coaches aren't allowed to offer money to players, these collectives end up doing the dirty work for them. But as Thamel explains, that's not really a well-kept secret.
UNLV's coaches can't agree to a deal to pay Matthew Sluka. Now, we all know it's fantasy land if you think that the coaches don't have a say in what the players make. And it's a little bit of an inflection point of let's stop playing make-believe and let's get a more tenable system in place.
In the case of Sluka, the Friends of UNILV collective ended up serving as the outlet for the six-figure offer he apparently received from Rebels offensive coordinator Brennan Marion. Because there were so many bells and whistles involved, however, Sluka only ever got a verbal promise. Senior associate attorney and co-chair of the We Are NIL practice, Josie Weiner, is still shocked by that aspect of the situation.
How you don't have a written agreement, how you have this six-figure deal and you just kind of go on a handshake or a verbal promise, how you act on that is beyond me.
But whether the deal failed or not, or how it happened, these types of agreements existing to begin with has been the cause of concern for many, including legendary Alabama head coach Nick Saga.
The way we're giving the money now, name, image, and likeness is really not name, image, and likeness. That's supposed to be for a marketing opportunity, which I think is a good thing. But we've turned it into pay for play because we have donor-raised funds to be able to pay people.
That begs the question, where does college football go from here? Well, a ton of that lies in the House vs. NCAA settlement, which is set to go into effect next fall. As a part of the settlement, schools will be able to pay athletes directly and implement revenue-sharing models as well. And there's some optimism that the settlement will play a key role in limiting future situations like Sluka's.
Finally, we're going to have revenue sharing. So you're not having a situation where student athletes are transferring or enrolling in a school and then just hoping and praying that these promises are going to be fulfilled and this money is going to be paid.
As for those pesky collectives, the settlement would allow them to work directly under athletic departments, and that would cut out the need for a middleman.
I don't think we're going to see the beginning of the end of collectives, but I think the collectives could evolve to being additive to the revenue share. What the hope and intention is for there to be true NIL deals, right? The way it's designed now, NIL is just simply a workaround to get money to players.
We have these collectives now going in-house. And now that they're associated and affiliated with the school, there's going to be a lot more regulation of collectives because collectives have kind of wreaked a bit of havoc in the NIL space.
But regardless if the settlement is reached or not, Sluka has forever etched his name into one of college football's most controversial chapters. We're currently seeing the phasing out of amateurism in real time, and Sluka is really just the tip of the iceberg. At a moment's notice, the Holy Cross transfer completely exposed the NCAA's existential crisis.
Because you can still play for the love of the game and get paid. I think some of the idealism has left college sports as it's become a multi-billion-dollar business. As we've had conference TV networks, as we have commissioners making $5 million a year, just some of that let's go give it the old college try type stuff has just gone out the window. It's a cold-blooded billion-dollar business, and Matthew Sluka reminded us all of that.
So whether you think Sluka was selfish to leave or justified in trying to maximize his value, one thing is true. The NIL landscape is the wild, wild west. And the most notorious gunslinger at the moment, the rogue righty from Sin City. Jonah Weintraub, WAER Sports.